What is going on, guys? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. We're getting very close to the draft now. Next week, next Thursday, the NFL draft kicks underway. And what we're going to be doing for you guys here today, as you see on the screen, we got a mock draft for just the Miami Dolphins, all of their picks. Got the 21st pick, the 55th pick in the first two rounds. Not great draft capital from there on out, but I also don't feel like the Dolphins need to have great draft capital right now. Pretty well-rounded roster, not a lot of immediate issues that the Dolphins have to cover, that they have to hit on this draft here. There's definitely some positions that we do need to fill, and you'll see me preference those positions over others. But without further ado, let's just get this kicked underway. There is an option on this website to accept trades. I'm not going to be accepting any trades. As you see, 5 trade offers. We're not accepting any trades. We're just going straight into it. And for the 21st pick, some pretty good available players here. Now, I expected to go into this taking Jackson Powers-Johnson, interior offensive lineman from Oregon, has played all over the offensive line. And if the draft falls how it should, I don't imagine Quinion Mitchell being available. Brian Thomas Jr. could still be available, could go receiver here. Now, Jared Verse, edge out of Florida State. Edge is one of the positions of need that I think the Dolphins should address in the draft, with big question marks with what's going to happen with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb, they actually have it out with him after next season, so getting his potential replacement early on is very tempting here with Jared Verse. I really wanted to take Jackson Powers-Johnson, fully expected to, but if we're in a situation where Jared Verse is still on the board, I feel like you have to take him. So going with an edge position player here, I'm not going to go into depth really breaking down a lot of these prospects for you guys, especially these later round guys that I'm sure most of you guys haven't heard of and probably I haven't heard of. So we get the edge position taken care of. Now we roll around here, linebacker. The linebacker position has been a very big position of need for the Miami Dolphins over the last couple of years. It's just been very mediocre at best, and I think it still isn't a strong point on this team. However, Zach Frazier here with West Virginia, interior offensive line, pretty sure is a versatile guy for that West Virginia team. Going on, I feel like I had to take interior offensive line there in that first round. I have a hard time not taking that here. Xavier Legette, something that Donovan is very high on. I'm sure if he does this mock draft next week and he's in this very same position as Xavier Legette is here on the board, he'd go there. Jonathan Brooks, I don't believe the Dolphins really need a running back. Bringing back Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson is somehow still on the team. And Devon Achane is only going to further expand and get better. So we're going to go with the interior offensive line here for the Miami Dolphins. There's not going to be probably a lot of sexy picks for this Dolphins team. Everybody wants the Dolphins probably to go wide receiver in the first round or two. Just cement themselves with the Houston Texans for having one of the best wide receiver trios in the entire NFL. If you were to go with Brian Thomas Jr., who was available there at the first round pick when the Dolphins were selecting, I don't think the Dolphins are going to go that way. I think it's going to be a very practical draft, not very sexy. You see edge, you see interior offensive line, and just perfectly, conveniently fell this way. The best available prospect left is yet another position of need. That entire the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, the Miami Dolphins need to address in the draft, as such uncertainty at the offensive line position for the Miami Dolphins. Who are the starters going to be? They bring back Isaiah Wynn. You assume he gets one of the guard spots at center. It could be Brewer that they brought in from the Tennessee Titans. Right guard, it's going to be an open door for competition there. And then same on the defensive line, except for Zach Sealer. I think it's going to be a very strong competition for who ends up being alongside him. Tommy Eichenberg, is that Liam Eichenberg's brother? I don't know. Maybe it is. If it is the case, I would consider drafting him, although I kind of hope Liam Eichenberg's off the team very soon. I'm going to go defensive lineman here, Dwayne Carter from Duke. So far, NFL mock draft database.com likes all of my picks for the Miami Dolphins, and I can't lie, I do too. Now, Michael Pratt, I did get to see Michael Pratt play this year as I was working with FAU football, doing some work covering their games. And Michael Pratt is a very talented quarterback who will get drafted. And if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm definitely considering taking a quarterback. I think every team really should take a quarterback just about every single year. You've seen so many great head coaches over the time talk about that. However, uh, maybe the seventh round, depending on who's available there, but all likelihood probably it's another undrafted free agents for the Miami Dolphins. Now, in this position here, you're not looking at great players. Jacob Cohen, I think, would be a fan favorite for the Dolphins to go here. Just on the basis he's a wide receiver, there's not a lot of Dolphins fans that have done a lot of scouting, and myself included on that. Auburn corners, we know what happened last time we took an Auburn corner and did not have a great time with him. However, corner, another position, not of necessarily of need for the Miami Dolphins, but corner, I don't think you can have enough corners on an NFL roster. And we come back here for second to last pick for Miami Dolphins, and Jacob Cohen is available. My name's also Jacob, so we're going to go there. Wide receiver help. I know a lot of Dolphins fans would prefer the Dolphins to address wide receiver earlier on in the draft. It would be fun. It'd be sexy. However, I just don't think that's realistic. Let's see the quarterbacks who are available. This is why I wanted to look. Talia being available. Now, look, you guys have watched this channel for a little bit. You should know that I'm not a massive Tua fan, and I think Talia is significantly worse than Tua. He had a pretty bad pro day, based off of reports, and I know if Donovan does this next week and Talia is available there, he's immediately going to do that. You look at the best positions on the board. I think I'm just going to scroll down a little bit lower before I make this decision. If I'm going to, again, just go based off positional need here, I'm going to go with Dominique Hampton, safety out of Washington, part of an underrated Washington defense this year. The Pac-12 was absolutely incredible, was absolutely loaded, and he played a key part in Washington's success. So now we have the full layout of what my draft would look like. And if you've made it to this part of the video and you're looking at this, like, who are these guys? There's probably going to be a lot of those picks for the Dolphins. There's not going to be a lot of screaming at your television, ecstatic that the Dolphins picked a specific player. There's going to be a lot of positions here that, again, you're not finding a sexy edge rusher usually at the end of the first round. Interior offensive lineman, defensive line, just another corner to fall in line, and then a wide receiver and safety at the end. It's not going to be a sexy draft for the Dolphins. I hate to break it to you. We're going to continue to talk about the draft and the Miami Dolphins and positions that they could go after and players they could go after. And if there is anybody specifically you'd like to see the Dolphins draft, let us know down below in the comments section. But this is probably what it's going to look like. Now, I do fully expect Jared Verse to be off the board when we select our first selection in the first round, and to go with, I forget his name, the interior offensive lineman out of Oregon, fully expected to go Powers Jackson, I think, something like that, last name. I fully expected to go with him, and I think that is the more real pick to go here with the first overall pick. I know for a fact he's versatile on the offensive line. I know he's played mostly center. He was the Pac-12 center of the conference of the year last year. He's played time at right guard. He's even played on the defensive line. So I fully expect that's where the Dolphins do end up going. But when you could potentially get your replacement for Bradley Chubb, depending on how he plays this year, after next year, a year ahead of time, as well as just the massive uncertainty of what the edge position is going to look like in the beginning of the season, I think edge makes a lot of sense. Interior offensive line, get that guy anyways. Defensive line, three of the biggest positions of need on this team. That's just what I went for down the board. Corner, you don't really have to say that we need corner. However, I don't think you can have enough guys. What happens if Jalen Ramsey gets hurt again? Is Cam Smith going to step up to the plate? Kendall Fuller, what is he going to look like now that he's beyond 30 years old? There's opportunities for corners to step up on this team. The cornerback 2 position, I think, is wide open. Wide receiver, safety, not positions of need again. Maybe safety depends on what happens with Javon Holland and his contract extension, but just after the time being, safety not position of need, but of the players there on the board. Thought safety made a lot of sense. Let me know what you think of this draft. Jared Verse, Zach Frazier, Dwayne Carter, Nehemiah Pritchett, Jacob Cohen, Dominique Hampton. You know anything about these guys? Let us know down below in the comments, as well as if there's anybody you'd like to see the Miami Dolphins target or any positions of need you'd like to see the Miami Dolphins target, let us know down below in the comments, as well as any other video ideas that you might have revolving Miami Dolphins content. Let us know down below. While down there, hit that like button, hit the sub button. Appreciate y'all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.